Yeah, good morning.
Thanks very much for joining us. Well, why are you called the jury team?
We're called the jury team because the jury is the oldest institution we have in this country since Magna Carta that stands up for individual liberty. And we are a group of individuals who want to clean up politics and make a real difference compared with the traditional party system, which is now in such disrepute following the expenses scandal.
OK, lots of people say they want to clean up politics. How do you want to go about doing it?
We have, through an open primary system, brought into politics a group of non-politicians, independent people from normal careers, not the Westminster Village crowd, not the political class, but people from housewives to teachers to researchers to whatever, people who really passionately want to make a difference. And they are just a completely different group of people, and we are therefore the credible alternative to vote for. People have lost their respect for the three traditional parties completely. The other small parties are either single issue or very extremist. We are the alternative of normal people, individuals, just like
OK, well, you said you're normal people, but what would you actually do? What are your policies?
We have 5 policies on governance for the European election. The first one is that people would be independent and they would vote for their constituents and for the UK, not as told by a party leadership. Secondly, that they would have expenses with receipts all declared and also declare their outside earnings. Thirdly, there should be an independent politicians' complaints commission so that MEPs don't sit in judgment on themselves, but there are independent peoples like the European Court of Auditors that look at those things. We then want to have term limits, no more than 3 terms of 5 years, 15 years in total, so people don't go native. And fifthly, we want to allow referendums. If 5% of the people call for a referendum, then the government should be forced to have a referendum, and that would apply to issues relating to Europe and to domestic issues.
And where do you stand on Europe? Do you believe in the European Union?
We believe that the people should decide. We believe if our policy of 5% of the people calling for a referendum would inevitably lead to somebody calling for a referendum on Europe, and then we would have a final decision, rather than the are we in, are we out, which has damaged Britain over the last 40 years. We need a clear, clean decision from the British people, which they want to do, and then government and everybody else can buckle down and do whichever that is.
And how would you vote in that referendum?
I would have to consider the issues at the time, and my views are only one of the 46 million
You don't know?
electorate.
Well, just tell us, though. You don't know how you'd vote?
At the moment, I would not like to say how I'd vote, because I'm not standing to say what my views are. I'm standing and formed this party.
But you're the founder of this party.
Yes, but we are a party of independence. Now, this may be a difficult concept, but we don't want to whip our people. We don't want to tell them what to do.
No, but people who vote for you would like an idea of what you stand for.
Well, I stand for democracy, accountability and transparency in politics, and I don't stand for party leaders telling their people what to do, or even, if necessary, hinting some years ahead.
But you don't even know which way you would vote in a referendum on Europe.
I have my own views, and they are mixed views, and I would have to see at the time which was the best. As I think, if I were to ask you that same question, I think you might reply very similarly.
Well, it's not about me, it's about you. You're the one who's running this party and putting up candidates.
That's right, and we are and I hope this conversation emphasises the point that our candidates will be independent, but that our main policy is to let the people decide, to take the policy back to the people, not to have politicians pontificating that this is right or that is right because of their personal prejudices. We want the people to decide. We want 5% of the people call for a referendum. We should have a referendum, and that, interestingly, is a policy that both those pro-Europe, very pro-Europe, and those very anti-Europe also support.
All right, so Paul Judge, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.